Oh, there we go. There's still so much to clean. Nice. Okay, that was the big one. Oh, that wasn't even the biggest one. The towers is the biggest one. I mean, individually they're not, but I suddenly briefly thought, oh, what if the stars were like how good a cleaner you are as a person? Like your... Oh, I guess actually it might be that. It might be your star thing depends on what jobs you have. So it's more so... It's not about the level that you're doing, it's about how far through the game you are, essentially. Like, I'm currently a 2-star power washer, and the more levels I do, the more stars I get. That might be how it works, and that's why, like, mid-level, I just, like, unlocked a bunch of new levels, because maybe I reached 2 stars, and that unlocked me new levels. That works. I was gonna say, but no, I briefly suddenly thought, oh, what if that's a, like, efficiency thing? Like, the faster and more effective you clean, the better your points, or the better your star rating. And I thought, what a way to ruin... That would be a brilliant way to ruin this game, is to make it have some sort of, like, competitive edge thing, where you have to be the best, the fastest, or whatever. That'd be a perfect way to ruin, like, a peaceful game. Give it, like, an arcade style, like, how fast can you wash this thing? Or like a high score, world rating, any of those kind of systems. That'd be a perfect way to ruin this game. It just reminds me of, I can't remember what game it was now, but there was a game that did something similar, where it was, the game itself was really designed to be like a peaceful game that the whole premise of it was, oh, there was a game called Refunction. Or Refunct? I played it on the channel. I'll put a picture of it on the screen, or I'll put a card to the video or something in the video. It was just like this platformer parkour game, and one of the points of it was that it didn't have any, like, speed. Like, even though it was a game that would work with like speedrunning and stuff like that, there was never any like leaderboard stuff for it, because the developer was like, oh, I don't want it to be that. I want it to be this like peaceful experience. And I believe in like an update later on, because a lot of people requested it, he went ahead and added, he or she, I don't know if it's a he or she, he or she added like a timer option you could do, like, oh, he added achievements, I think, like, get through it in this time and stuff like that for those people who were requesting it. But then a huge subset of people who liked the game were like, this ruins it. This ruins it for me. Because, like, the whole point of it was that it was not supposed to have that kind of shit. Sometimes a game is better off not having achievements or, like, scores or whatever. Like, I'm someone who pretty rarely, if I make a game, I almost never put scores into things. The closest thing to a score I'll do is I'll have, like, multiple endings. I did that in Whisper. That's the closest thing to a score, is, like, if you kill more than 3 things throughout the game, then you get the bad ending. So if you get through the game without killing, well, with killing minimal slimes, you get the best ending. And, yeah. Pretty much any other thing, like, whenever I make games, I never make score systems, because I don't like score systems myself. I prefer a game to just work, be fun, and, I don't like having the score be the thing that determines how well or bad I'm doing at the game, you know? Games that have, like, leaderboard systems, as long as they're, like, non-intrusive, I couldn't care less about the leaderboards. But some games, like, the leaderboards are everything. That's, like, the whole point of the game, is to see who's best. Earn your score on the leaderboard. Games just don't do it for me. Oh, this is a bridge. It's hard to separate, or hard to differentiate what parts are of this, this playground are what. I was working on one of the towers, but now I'm on a bridge, because they're connected. Oh, tic-tac-toe dice. Oh, and this, I remember seeing this was nearly done. Oh, this was, no, 25% done. Oh god, this, I should switch back to the yellow nozzle. This isn't doing it for me. Can I go up? Oh, I can go up the climbing wall. I think most of the climbing wall is actually... most of it that's left is this... yeah, is the back. The yellow nozzle's so good. Oh, brilliant. There we go. Oh, nope. Okay, I'm gonna focus in on the small pieces. Yeah, stuff like this, these dice, they'd just be shredded in terms of, their, like, surface. They would... if they have any, like, stuff on them, they don't look like they do. If they had any letters or numbers or whatever, they would be gone from this power washer. Oh, those poles. I didn't even notice those poles were there. That's how dirty and now how clean they are. Oh, I forget the... if you crouch down and go in here, if you then go prone, you can't go out of prone because you can't stand up down here. There we go. Which tower was I working on? Or was I even working on a tower? No, I think I just was working on the... oh, I was working on this tower over here. Yeah. I should continue to work on this tower. It's... every now and then my voice, when I do that, like, I should continue to work on this tower. It just reminds me of, like, good old, like, Command and Conquer, or, you know, like, RTS games. I love a good, like, AI or, like, commander voice. Assistant. Like, RTS assistant voice. I miss RTS games. I feel like they don't... like, so few of them are made these days. Although, so I guess I would say so few of them are in the style that I like are made these days. I like my Command and Conquer style one. Even like StarCraft. StarCraft would do it. I was thinking to myself, like, oh, one of the last RTS games that was made in recent times was, one of the ones that I liked was the follow-up. There's a studio that I loved as a kid called, Westwood. They made Command and Conquer, the original Command and Conquer games. And they used to make just a ton of RTS games, like the old Dune RTS game, and, yeah, Command and Conquer, as well as the Red Alert series. And they were one of the companies that was bought and then like deconstructed by even just saying deconstructed sounds like something from an RTS game. Yeah, got deconstructed by EA. They were like bought and then like melted down for their parts by EA. But then most of the developers from Westwood formed a company called Petroglyph. And Petroglyph, in terms of games I know of theirs, the main one I played, the most recent one, was a game called Grey Goo, which is an RTS that is in the vein of like a more intensely advanced version of your like Command and Conquer. Really hard, like I suck at Grey Goo, like real bad. But I love the idea of it. And I was suddenly thinking, like, wait, I thought I remember Petroglyph pairing with someone, or partnering with someone, and I just remembered it was actually EA again. Because there was a member of EA who wanted to do the remake, the Command and Conquer Red Alert. Sorry, Command and Conquer / Red Alert, like with both of them, the remake for that. And yeah, there was just this one guy who was like a fan of old RTS, old Command and Conquer games, working at EA, and he convinced the heads of EA to be like, can I, like, basically ask them, can I reach out to the original developers of Command & Conquer and get them to work with us to remake the original games? And, he got the okay to do it, so he basically single-handedly, this guy is probably younger than me, or, like, around my age. I think he's younger than me, actually, working at EA, can manage to get the, Command & Conquer remakes to be made. And now, honestly, what I hope for is that Petroglyph and EA are going to work together to make a remake of the next era of Command & Conquer games. Because that's my era. I played the original Command & Conquer games, but I was terrible at them. It wasn't really until Command & Conquer Red Alert 2 and Tiberian Sun that I got better and had more fun with those games. And that's honestly their most popular games, as far as I know. In terms of fan base, I don't know about sales, but definitely in terms of like the fan enjoyment and fan usage, long-term fan enjoyment, Red Alert 2 and Tiberian Sun is where it's at. But I'd like to see more interesting RTSs like Grey Goo, because while I'm shit at it, the way that Grey Goo works is really fascinating. Command & Conquer games, if you're not aware, if you're not familiar, most of the Command & Conquer games and like Age of Empires and stuff like that, they work with these like, you'll have like an interface. Well, let's just say in Command & Conquer you had like a singular interface where everything sort of was stored in terms of like what you can build, units, buildings, whatever. And then you unlock new things to build when you build new buildings, new things around your base. And Age of Empires is a little different, where it's like you, depending on who you're selected, like what unit you're selected, or what buildings you've selected, it'll determine what you can build from those things. Well, I think Grey Goo works differently again, because it's I mean, it's hard to describe. It's hard to describe without just playing it. But the interface is the way it works, and like the way the teams work is quite different. Yeah, I guess in Age of Empires, like you research stuff, and then you can build new things, and usually you get villagers to build stuff, and then you select the buildings, and from those buildings you can build units or whatever that is that they build. Well, in Grey Goo, each team works very differently. So the like alien race. Oh, see, I got 3 stars now. Is this the extraordinary Dr. PowerWash? We got your details from Cal. We got a dirty old house in need of some TLC. Ah. I still wonder why they use this fancy pants shock-absorbing rubber compound for the playground flooring and not good old-fashioned creosote. Well, the rubber flooring is much better for playgrounds than the old systems they had. Some of those old, like, there was this playground at my primary school that had like wood chips. That was the worst. They used to have like this like brown wood stuff. I don't remember what it's called. Maybe it's creosote. I don't know. I don't know what creosote is. There was this like sort of deep brown colored wood stuff that was kind of soft. It was almost like cork. But it was like in little chunks, and that was fine. That like felt fine to land on and play around in. But then this one like later playground they added to my primary had like wood chips, and that's the absolute worst. You get like splintered with like wood pieces all the time. It's awful. Anyway, yeah. So the alien race in Grey Goo, they like. It's funny because those aliens have like a South African accent. It's kind of funny. But it's just the like voice actors they got to do those parts. They just have like a South African accent. Yeah, the aliens have like a system where you build like a... Oh, how does it work now? You build like a foundation of sorts. You build like this base structure. And then from that base structure you can add components. It's like a modular system where you add components to that base structure. So in order to build anything, you need to build like this foundation building and then build stuff around it. And each foundation unit has like a limited amount of things that can be built around it and limited size. So to build more stuff on top, like to build the more advanced things, you need the bigger ones, and they take up more slots around the outside of the... Round me outside, round me outside. Around the outside of the outside of the structure. And then like the human race group, they have this like what I can only describe as like a infrastructure system where you have to build like lines between structures, and you can then build off those lines more structures. So theirs works a little differently, and you can have separate. I think you can have. No, everything has to come from. You can't have separate structures. That's the thing with the alien race. You can just build those like foundational structures wherever. Oh, it's too high. Oh, I hit tab by accident. With the alien race, you can kind of like build those structures anywhere, and then build a mini base off of those structures. But then you need to like power them and do stuff like that individually, I think. So you need to build like a new power system and stuff like that to get those working. The humans don't have to do that. The power goes across your entire base, but everything has to be linked via these like these lines, and these lines I don't think they can go up hills or something like that. So there is like a limit to how big your base can be if you're the humans, which is unlike the other races or the other factions. And then the grey goo side, which is like the kind of the bad guys, but you can play as them if you want. They have like their own story mode and everything. The grey goo side, they don't even have buildings. To upgrade their base, basically, they have to build units. Their entire structure is based around what units they have. So, like that, I can't play that team because I'm so bad. I'm so used to the classic structure of RTS games that the idea of a baseless team is so confusing to me. Because they work on the same principle as the idea of... If you're not familiar with the grey goo, the idea of grey goo. Grey goo is basically like an annihilation scenario in... currently still in science fiction, but could be possibly a thing we have to suffer later. Basically a computer system built from like nanomachines or small robot systems that are self-replicating. So the grey goo side, like all their units are just like blobs of these nanomachines. And I think the premise in the game is that whenever the nanomachines consume something, they're able to convert like any machines that they consume. They convert all the coding and programming from those machines into their overall like knowledge. They're like a hive mind. So yeah, all the units are just like blobs of grey goo, but formed into some structure to be useful. Oh, I didn't realize that I was gonna not hit a wall. So there's an interesting story element to that, because the humans use like AIs to... They use these like AI systems to oh, by the way, the grey goo was created by humans, of course it was. But also the humans have this like AI system that they use to help your commanders in warfare. And let's just say some interesting shit happens towards the end of that story mode. Not that I ever finished it, because even the story mode was too hard for me. I suck at that game. But yeah, the a grey goo scenario is like a real-world potential apocalypse scenario, which is, yeah, if we ever develop a system of like nanomachines that are self-replicating, you know, that can consume matter of some kind and produce more robots from that matter, then we could end up in a grey goo scenario where the entire universe ends up getting devoured, and our entire world. But in eventuality, the entire universe could get consumed by grey goo. The grey goo being just the goo made from like thousands of nanomachines, all in big swarms. Oh, I'm doing the roof now. I just noticed. Didn't mean to do that. My efforts to like focus in on one thing are not working so well with this clean. I might have Chinese tonight. My normal scenario for dinner is that I usually cook dinner. I'm usually the one who cooks, because my mom for a long time has been on a diet to try and lose some weight, And I should probably be on that same diet, honestly, but nevertheless, I've been cooking for my dad and I for a while now, but my mom's slowly being like weaned off the diet now. She's at her goal weight, and they're slowly trying to like get her back on regular food and not have to buy the food from the place. With eventually the plan to like stop the diet altogether, and just have like a better healthy eating behavior. But what that's meaning is that Mum's slowly doing more and more cooking, and she's, you know, if she's cooking, she may as well cook for all of us. Just like take the meals that she's using for that diet system and then just triple it, so that it's for my dad and I as well. But what that's meaning is that now I don't know what days that I'm supposed to cook. So much so that I thought that today was the day that I didn't have to cook, but I was informed about an hour ago that indeed today I do have to cook, and I have nothing planned. So you know what? I might just order something. But I can't be bothered going out. I can't be bothered going out to grab something. What places can I order from? Could use Uber Eats, I suppose. Every time I've tried to use the Uber Eats app, I'm just like chatting. Every time I've tried to use the Uber Eats app, it's not worked for me. There's like 3 separate occasions where I've tried to like use the Uber Eats app, and it's like failed me in different places every time. Although I have a feeling I heard that more places, like here in New Zealand, we don't have a whole lot of food places that deliver. It's pretty much just pizza. For whatever reason, pizza places always deliver, but nowhere else does. But I think because of COVID and the changes in the way in our society, with the addition of things like Uber Eats, I think there are actually more places doing delivery now. Because Uber is so expensive, but people love ordering food online and having it delivered. A lot of places are seeing the value in having a delivery system. So like they use Uber just to get the awareness of their store, and then people order through them instead from then on, which is a good system. Because Uber charges a lot. Like a lot of those businesses get charged a huge amount when you order via Uber Eats. So I just feel bad ordering via Uber. Well, I feel bad with the idea of it. As I said, I've never actually managed to get an order go through. And I'm actually someone who's never myself like ordered an Uber. Like I ordered a Uber driver. Just jumping. I've been in an Uber before when someone else placed the order. One of my old boss. We were at like a dinner. We're having like an office dinner, and you know, people didn't want to drive home because they'd been drinking. So Ubers were ordered. Other than that, I've never been in an Uber. Oh, I'm doing the roof again. Damn it. The cutoff between the roof and the tower is so, like, so specific. It catches me off guard every time. I'm so close to getting Tower 1 done. I have this random-ass Jonathan Coulton song stuck in my head. I don't know if anyone, like, I'm someone who, when I played Portal, and when I learnt that Jonathan Coulton was the one who made Still Alive and made, like, Want You Gone and stuff like that, I, like, started seeking out his stuff. And so I started, like, listening to all the stuff. I bought his, he had like a thing on his own personal online store that was just, like, basically buy everything he's ever made. I did that exact thing. And so for the longest time, I've had, like, almost every single song of Jonathan Coulton's on my phone, although I haven't got his latest album on there yet. There's this random song called Betty and Me. Oh, yay, it's done. Hell yeah. So clean. There's a random song called Betty and Me. It's like a country song. It sounds like a country song. But much like most of Colton's music, it's, you know, nothing quite is as it seems. Nothing's quite like standard. Everything's a little bit twisted and funny and humorous. But, yeah. I got that damn song, it's like my hit. Things are getting better for Betty and me. We're making us a baby that's just like me, only better. I want to finish this clean in today's episode, but I've been recording for an hour and a half, and that's not even including the break that I had in the middle, because I paused the recording. It's fun. I forget how effective this nozzle actually is. You can zoom past and things will get cleaned. Yay, there we go. Okay, bridge complete. I think I'll just keep going in the order I've been going. Stick with this direction. So yeah, we're on Tower 2. Towers are such big units each that they take such a long time to clean. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have time to do the mini wash between, like, at the end of this episode. I'm just gonna get this done and call it. We'll do after I've had my dinner, we'll come back and I'll do another episode, and we'll do that small wash then. Oh, cargo net's a separate item. I'll do the cargo net real quick. Just a random thing popped into my mind. I've talked about it before. I had that thought. I've wondered about the possibility of, like, making these recording sessions available to be watched by members. So someone who is, like, I'd make another tier, like a like a one layer tier higher, that basically anyone who is that tier, you can watch me stream. Because I seemingly I can choose, if I make a stream, a member stream, you can actually choose what level of member gets the ability to join. So I could make like a high tier member thing and make it so you could like watch live stream version of these recordings, of like any recording that I do, which is what some of the bigger YouTubers do now. They like stream everything and then they just use the streams as recordings, you know. But when they do that, they do something which is what I would probably want to do as well, which might be unappealing to some, and that is that they you know, when they're streaming for recording purposes to those members, they don't address the stream at all. They don't address the viewers. The viewers are getting like a voyeuristic look into the recording process, basically. And that's probably what I'd want to do as well with it, but I can understand people not really being into that, so let me know if you'd want to see that, and if you'd be willing to pay for that. Because I can understand not, like, people not either way for that setup. But I can also understand people being okay with that, people being keen, because I mean there's clearly some interest in that, if some of those big YouTubers can get away with it. But then they have the appeal, they have the wide audience appeal of that, so I don't know. Let me know what you think in those comments down below. Hit that like button. Let me know you want to see it by hitting that like button. And smash that bell. Ring-a-ding-ding that bell. Okay, I think I've done the underside. No, I haven't. I missed an entire section. It's good, we got it. I think I'm done with the underside. Just thinking back to the Jonathan Coulton thing, that's something I've always found. I tend to gravitate towards musicians who do varied styles of music. Like, I always loved Weird Al for all of his parody stuff. Not necessarily for the parody itself, although I've always liked parodies. I always liked the idea of parodies. But not even necessarily for the parody itself. More so, oh, I forgot about the roof. More so for the, yeah, I'm doing the roof again. More so for the fact that it's different genres. Every song is a different genre. Every other piece is something musically very different from the previous. Jonathan Coulton, once again, he doesn't do parodies, but he does comedy music. And I like comedy music. I like laughing. I like having fun. I like fun stuff, you know. But yeah, Jonathan Coulton doing like, doing sort of like just generally varied music. I immediately was drawn to that. I mean, yeah, I was gonna say Flight of the Conchords, another good example of that. They're a comedy band. They do what I would call, or what sometimes people refer to, some of Weird Al songs are known as style parodies. And that's what, the Flight of the Conchords are all about. They do style parodies of all sorts. I didn't even know that they did that until it was pointed out to me. Like, I could sort of detect it because of the, like, variations and the themes of their music. But, oh right, I should do this. I could tell because the style of the music changes so drastically from song to song. But I didn't know who they were parodying, so I couldn't really confirm it until one of my friends, who was like a huge Flight of the Conchords fan, was like, "Oh, if you liked the way that song played out, you should listen to the original, the song that's like parodying." And I still have not listened to that song that it was like based off of. The song I'm thinking of is a Flight of the Conchords song called, oh, the hell's it actually called? The Avenues of Time? Oh, what the hell's it called? Rambling Through the Avenues of Time, I think is the name of the song. Which is an awesome name for a song. But it's also, the song itself is an awesome song. And it's basically this long, like, story being told in music form. There's no, like, chorus. It's all just, like, continual additions to the story. And yeah, apparently it's parodying a particular musician, and they're a particular song by that musician. And I have never heard the original, but yeah, I love that song, so I'm sure I'll love the original. Can I go up here? Oh, I can. Did I finish? I didn't finish this. I said I was gonna focus in on it, and then I never did. God damn it. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, style parodies. Good. I like musicians who play lots of different kinds of music. I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to say about that, but that's... Creosote is fungicidal, cheap, and just an absolute joy to pour. Admittedly, it's also profoundly toxic to humans when ingested. Swings and roundabouts. Is it swings and roundabouts? Ah. I learned something new today. Oh god, am I getting chroma keyed out? If I close this, will that stop it? Okay, I think it did. Oh, it's still happening a little bit, but that's right. Damn, I've always thought the phrase was swings in roundabouts. As in, like, I guess, because swings and roundabouts is all about just like, oh, ebb and flow, you know. And so I always thought it was like the addition of swinging and circling. Swings and roundabouts. But no, it's swings and roundabouts. My bad. That was a blind sight. An area I just hadn't come across before. I just never seen it written. I never heard it said. Oh, now I've got that song stuck in my head. I've got Rambling Through the Avenues of Time. Yeah, I wonder if KFC does delivery. Oh, I really want some KFC. I'm not sponsored by KFC. I mean, if KFC wanted to sponsor me, I'd take it, but I'm not sponsored. Only problem with some of those songs from like, well, the problem with me with a lot of music is it's almost always sung in a range that's just like either at the verge of my range or just outside my range. So like, yeah, I don't know, it's hard to describe. A lot of like modern music is sung in a specific like chord range that's kind of just outside. It's too high for me. It's too high pitched. My deeply man voice. I was wandering through the streets of the city, rambling through the avenues of time. It's within my range, but like just barely. And from nowhere my eyes fell onto a girl, and by chance her eyes fell onto mine. That was actually okay. That song's okay, but it's like, it's higher than I would normally be comfortable singing. Because that song doesn't actually raise much higher, I don't think, than that. So it would be totally fine. I could probably sing the whole song without having trouble. What's with the, like, grey dirt? We drank dandelion wine and we reminisced about the moment when we first met that day. Then we reminisced about how we first reminisced. You can tell I'm someone who suffers from anxiety purely from the fact that people always like praise me for my singing. People are always like, "Oh, that was awesome." You know, singing, whatever you did, whatever it was you did, awesome. Meanwhile, I'm like, it sounds awful. I'm just like, it's awful. Every time I sing. Oh, okay, there it goes. Every time I sing, I'm like, ugh. Like, I hear all these musicians with their amazing voices, and I'm just like, I just don't compare. Why does anyone praise me for it? And I know it's like illogical. It's illogical to think that way. But that's just anxiety. That's just how anxiety works. And like lack of self-confidence. I mean, it's just like this. It's just like YouTube. Same deal. Like, difference with YouTube is that I feel like because there's the game as like a medium, there's something that could still be entertaining even if I'm not. So I feel like I can still do it. The people who are entertained by me, that's awesome, but then also like, there's plenty of people who would just be there for the game. And as much as I don't want that, as much as I want people to be here for me, like I understand that's an inevitability, you know. There will be just some people who are just interested in watching people play a game, and once I'm not playing that game anymore, they'll lose interest in the channel, and that's fine. Yeah, like when it comes to something that it's like purely me, I lack that confidence, because if you don't think I'm talented, if you think I suck, like I think I suck. Then, there's nothing else there, you know? If I'm singing and you're not liking it, then there's no other reason to stick around. Okay. Rory, focus on the towers, not on the roof. Rory. Stop it. No, I'm just gonna quickly clean. Oh, have I already done it? Oh, I've almost already done it. Okay, cool. She handed me a broken memory, a keepsake to forevermore say that the sweet taste of love is as sweet as any, and with that, she made away. I I can't sing that song low either. If I put it an octave lower, it's too low. And with that, she made her way. Yeah, there it is. I got the right pitch that time. See, I've said this before. I'll say it again though. Am I cleaning that, or is that already clean? Oh, that actually already looks clean. I'll just keep doing it anyway, just in case. I'm gifted in the sense that, like, my one gift in terms of my musical prowess is that, I am like a parrot. Like, I've heard people use words to describe what this is, or what different, like, musical things are. One of the things that's commonly mixed up, seemingly, is perfect pitch versus, oh, I forget what this one's called now. There's, like, perfect pitch, and then there's, I can only describe it as, like, replication, or a perfect ear. That's almost what I want to say. It's like a perfect ear. And that is, perfect pitch is something you learn. Well, you can learn it, but it's also, some people are just inherently good at it. And perfect pitch is where you are able to hear a note and then play it on an instrument. Like, you hear a note and you're like, oh, that's A. That's like the key A. Or that's a G, or whatever. And you can, like, and therefore you can just, like, immediately play it on a piano or whatever. I don't have that. I am not good with composition. I'm not good with musical theory. I did some basic, like, keyboard / piano lessons when I was in high school, but I never really got anywhere with it. No, what I have is what that other thing. I call myself a parrot. I have a perfect ear. And even then, saying perfect feels like the wrong... It's not really perfect. What it is that if I hear music playing, I can replicate it, like, perfectly. I'm like a parrot. I can parrot back a sound perfectly, which is somewhat less impressive than perfect pitch, but it is something that you're either born with or you're not. There are many people I know who can't do that. When they hear a note, they can't just instinctively make a sound that is that note. And in some people's cases, and in my case a little bit, sometimes the voices are like that as well. Sometimes I can hear a voice and I can just make that voice. It's way less common for me to be able to do it with voices, but yeah, some people are like that with voices as well, and some people are just like that with music. And, like, I was born with that ability because I've been told there's this, like, cute story of me when I was a little kid. When I was a baby, oopsies. When I was a baby, my parents would wake up and hear me already awake in my crib humming to myself music. Like, they'd wake up and they'd hear me humming Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to myself as an infant. As a little baby boy in my crib. My parents would hear me humming Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to myself. Like, it's really funny because it's like, it's specifically notable because, it highlights the difference between my brother and I as babies. Whereas my parents would wake up to the sound of my brother crying his eyes out because he's in his crib all alone. And my brother used to cry, like, as a baby, used to cry a lot. And cause my parents, like, torment. Me, on the other hand, I wouldn't wake my parents up. My parents would just wake up and hear me just humming music to myself, which I've never heard another baby do. I don't know if that's a common thing for babies to hum, but that's something that I did as a baby. And to be fair, like, one of the reasons that I have, like, anxiety about my singing and stuff like that, well, firstly, it comes from these, like, very small, few and far between experiences I had as a kid, where, either someone criticized my singing, or something that involved singing was like, people being awkward and not, like, knowing what to do, like, people cringing about people like singing unprompted and stuff like that led me to not want to do that. And also the like feeling of like me singing and then realizing that like maybe the person that I'm singing around, maybe they can't sing or they're not able to sing this particular song. So like I would feel bad about it. And I developed sort of like a disliking of singing in front of people for those kind of purposes. Yeah, it's like a combination of like, it's like it happens with me when someone starts dancing in front of me, especially if they're good at dancing. There's a friend of mine who's real good at dancing, and I always feel bad because I can't dance for shit. And so I can't, I would join in with them if I could, but I can't. So I just stand there awkwardly, and then I feel bad because I'm probably doing the exact same thing that people used to do with me with singing. I would start singing as a little kid, and then people would just stare at me because they can't join in, and they don't know how to join in. They don't know how to process the scenario, so they just stand there and stare. And I felt so bad whenever that would happen. So like, yeah, I don't know. I feel when I'm recording YouTube, I don't feel quite as bad about it because usually, like, I don't believe that I have as good a voice as I do now, as I did when I was a kid. So I don't feel like I'm singing in a way that is upsetting. I mean, it might be upsetting to people who are musically good, but to the average person, it shouldn't be like super upsetting, hopefully. But also, I'm usually not singing with a lot of like intensity. I'm usually just sort of like rambling through the avenues of time. Just sort of singing to myself mostly. And because I'm like alone in the room, I don't feel awkward about singing in front of people, even though people are watching the video. Yeah, it's like a different experience, so I don't mind it so much. But as soon as if someone was in the room with me, if someone was like, actually, if someone's in the room with me, I couldn't talk like this. I find it real difficult to talk to the camera when there's people in the room. One of the reasons why I've never done like a collaboration with anyone in my room. I've never brought friends into a Let's Play outside of them being like actually in the game, playing it from their home or whatever. And even then I act very differently when that's the case. Like when I'm streaming with people, I act very differently from when I'm streaming or recording by myself or streaming by myself. Even just streaming versus recording is very different, which is part of the reason why I'm also a little nervous to do that idea I mentioned earlier. Like, what if when I stream record to like my members, what if I act differently because I'm aware that people are live watching? I realize I've been talking a lot in this end of this episode. I feel bad, because I shouldn't talk that much. This episode is already 2 hours long. Poor editing Rory. There we go. Okay, yeah, we just got 3 things left. Nice. It's this tower, which is nearly done. There we go. And then the roofs. Roofs times 3 and the monkey. Oh, roofs times 3. Yeah. And then the monkey bars. I'll do the monkey bars first. Well, the song Betty and Me is back in my head. Betty was pretty firm about her baby being human. I said we should give him wings and a nice prehensile tail. We can travel with the circus, making money, making friends with clowns. I have to work towards it to do it, but in terms of my range, my musical range, I'm closer to like a Johnny Cash. Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. But I have to work towards that deep part, the ring of fire. Depending on I don't know if I'm singing that at the right key. But like, so I know in the past I used to have to really work to get my voice to go that deep. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Copyright vault. Yeah. I was gonna say, this must be getting close, right? I looked back up to the percentage completed, and there's still a long way to go. This monkey bar. For this bar of monk. Bar of Le Monk. Le Monk. I need to get up on top. There was a joke there that I nearly made that I will not make. Alright, I did the insides of these. Oh, I didn't do this part though. Because I did the insides of the roofs before. I was gonna say, this one I didn't bother to do, but this one and this one I did the insides of the roof. Can I go up here? I can. Nice. Okay. Ooh, nearly slid right off. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, now can I stand on the monkey bars? I can. Horizontal. Eh. Yeah. I was like, this should be enough to just like, I just broad stroke it from this point on. Broad stroke it sounds dirty. That was the horny police. Bonking me. Okay, inside of that done. Now it's all roof. It's all roof stuff. Ladder. There it is. Oops, I always forget that it's F. There we go. Now, roof time. So close. Been over 2 hours. 2 hours, 10 minutes. So far. Okay. Ooh, that's so nice once all the dirt's off. I'm gonna do it from the top here and then add extra detail when I need to. Yeah, I was gonna say I probably don't even need to. Eh. Ooh, got bird shit on this one. This one doesn't seem quite as satisfying to clean because it's because the color it is. But nevertheless, I'd be so curious to look at the code for this game and how the dirt works. Because it's so satisfying, but it's so... And it looks so, like, kind of perfect for what you want for this. It always is funny how fast... Like, I always find it funny how fast like, the roof often will just get cleaned. Even though there's still huge amounts of dirt remaining. This one's slightly more satisfying, but ultimately, the yellow is the most satisfying color, I think. I think this is the biggest roof of the three. I can't stand in the middle and clean it all from here. It actually reaches beyond my washer's reach. I couldn't reach from the middle. And actually this, I don't know if it was the case with the other roof, but this roof has a lot of little creases that I'm not cleaning properly. Oh, that gave me a fright, Jesus Christ. Super job on the playground, Dirt Finder. Looking at it now, I'll admit there may have been the odd flick of dirt here and there. Aren't there just so many colors? Oh, well then. Oh, here's the final time lapse after all that. Damn. Oh, it doesn't show you the original text. I was gonna say, did he say it wasn't too dirty, did he? But he says like, I'll admit there may have been the odd fleck of dirt here and there. Looking at it now. Too many. There's just so many colors in this world. Too many, perhaps. Anyway, you've got these bleating worry warts off my back, and for that I cannot thank you enough. So, now we've got these two, which I will do in the next episode. It is now... It's been 2 hours, 20 minutes recording time. If I do this one... Oh, maybe I do the detached house first. I was gonna say, if I do this one, I'll only be up $100, so that'll be 717. But if I do this one, I'll have enough for the third power wash. I'll just go straight into this one, I think, in the next episode. But yeah, if you like what you saw, hit like. If you want to see more from me, then subscribe. I'm really enjoying Power Washing Simulator. I hope people enjoy it too. Because, like, I'd like to keep playing it. But I'm ultimately... This is definitely one of those games that I could just play in my own time, or I could just, you know, come back to this whenever. We'll see what you guys think of it. Check the links in the description for my social media pages and my merchandise store page. If you really liked this video, consider sharing it with people online or in real life. Hit that bell. Ding-a-ling-a-ling, that bell. It's like, I'm going to not make someone not ring the bell. Ding-a-ling, that bell. And thanks so much for watching, and until next episode of Power Washing Simulator.